have this vivid memory of sitting in the bathtub one time and just crying.
I think I punched my dad once.
You're not in charge of me right now. Like, you just won't leave me alone.
I had an epidural in my back, so I couldn't move very well.
She just wanted me to keep pushing and keep going.
Everybody had one. Like, if you didn't have one, you were looked down upon.
This is a show where teenagers share their experiences growing up in today's world. I'm your host, Dr. RJ, and this is A Teen's Perspective.
I am a life coach, so I'm not a therapist. We're not going to talk about your problems or anything like that. I'm all about helping you take your success to the next level, reach any goals. So I'm all about creating this amazing future for you. So in other words, if you have a goal, I want to be a straight A student, I can help. I want to start on a basketball team, I can help. I want more friends, I can help. So that is what I do. I help you accomplish goals. Since we're talking about this, I am curious. What are some things you guys are wanting? So you can either share something you've been trying to get, but you haven't gotten it yet, or something that you really, really want, but you don't know where to start. So go ahead and put in the chat so I know what kind of goals that you guys are setting for yourself or just things that you want. I'm curious. Let's see here. What are you guys telling me today? Okay, here we go. Julian, first one. All right, awesome. Thanks, Julian. Straight A's. This person said a new car, become a better runner. Okay, friends. I like it. Trying to make more friends. Okay, I want to be a police. Awesome. Time management. I want to be an NBA coach. That's cool, man. Basketball is my favorite sport. I want to make varsity with the volleyball team in a 95 average, get a solo in jazz. See, this group of people we have, there's almost 300 of us on this call. And guess what? We all have different passions, different skills. We're all cool, I think. So this is a cool group to be a part of. All right, so I want to get a solo. I want to be more comfortable in public. I want to get my life back on track, be a basketball. See, all these cool things. Now, what I want to share with you guys is one strategy that is often overlooked, okay? So, I've coached so many teenagers, and it's like, hey, I want to make more money. I want a curfew. I want to extend my curfew. Raise your hand if you want a later curfew. Yes, I know that. I want the PS5. I want all these things, and I think something is missing. So think of it this way. Say, for instance, I have an apple tree, and you want an apple. And I say apples because I love apples. I eat like almost 3 a day. So there's an apple tree, and there's an apple at the very, very top, but there's a ton of apples at the bottom. So much so that you could just take your hand and reach up and grab an apple. And I'm 6'5", so I probably can grab it. But even if you're 5'1", you can still just reach your hand up and grab this apple. Now, what most people do, I'm just going to tell you guys, most of you guys are doing is this. You're getting a ladder and trying to go for the top one. You're like trying to climb a tree. You're trying to take a broom and swat it down. What I'm encouraging you to do today is go for the easy one. Just grab the apple. Go for the easy one. Now, that is an analogy. So what am I talking about? Well, as some of you know, I also coach your parents. So after we hang up this call in about 30 minutes, I'm going to be on time today. I'm going to meet with your parents. And just so you know, I have your back. I'm a teen coach first. Parents is like an extra thing that I feel like I have to do because I feel like that's the only way it's going to take you to the next level. Your parents have to be on board, but I'm a teen coach, so I have your back. So I'm always telling your parents, hey, don't take away their phone. Give them more freedom, give them more independence. Like, I'm on your side, all right? Let me ask you this question. When I did give you the analogy of the apples, oftentimes, you guys are not doing the simple things first to get what you want. Some of you want money. Some of you want a later curfew. Some of you want more, hang out with your friends later, more time, screen time. How many of you cannot bring your phone to bed with you? How many of you got to turn that phone in? Let me see. I know there's a lot of you. Yes, I talk to the parents. I know what they're doing to you guys. So I know you want to keep your phone, right? You want to be trusted with your phone. But I'm going to have to reason with you. What I'm saying is go for the easy apples, grab the ones that's easy to grab, is basically doing what your parents ask. Why is that so difficult? Come on now. Why is that so difficult? You guys are doing everything else to try to get money or whatever. Simply just following the rules goes a long way. Trust me. I know. I talked to them. So let's shout out some of the rules, and guess what you're going to notice? All of you are probably in the same boat. So what do your parents want from you? They want you to do good in school. They want you to be nice to your siblings. They want you to show respect. They want you to tell the truth. Come on, what's more? Yes, Julian. Do chores. What else? Come on, it's 5. See, it's not that many. I'm telling you, it's not a ton. Yeah, I said respect, so don't be, you have to be respect. Don't talk back, so we'll group that into respect. Don't do drugs and fights. Yes, we'll add that one. What else? Get good grades. Yes, I said good grades. So you see what I'm saying? I have all you guys on this call, and we literally identified 6 things that our parents want us to do. All right, so let's go to Lewis. Lewis is going to talk to us about his parents. So Lewis, come on down for us. Everybody give Lewis a high five. Come on, don't leave him hanging. Don't leave him hanging. There we go. Hey, Lewis, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I am great. Thanks for joining us. I believe you put you're an A or a B. I couldn't remember.
I was an A.
Awesome. Talking about Lewis. See, Lewis makes me proud. That's what I'm talking about. All the A's. You're the best. So tell me, what are some of the things that your parents are constantly telling you to do over and over?
To do my homework and study, and then to stay off my phone.
All right. So if this sounds like your parents, raise your hand. If this sounds like your parents, come on, put them high so I can see. Yes, I see Desiree's like, yes, that's my parents. All right, so a lot of you guys' parents. Tell me this. Maybe you guys can enlighten me. Why is that so difficult to do? I'm curious. Explain. Explain from a teen's perspective. Why is that so difficult?
I don't know, because it's harder to do something that you don't want to do when someone else is like just constantly telling you to do it.
Okay. So does that make sense to everyone? Is everyone agreeing to this? If you have another reason and you want to share with the group, raise your hand super tall. If you have another reason of why it's so difficult. All right, Lizzie, I'm coming to you. You came first. Hey, Lizzie.
Hi.
Hey.
Sorry.
So tell me, Lewis is saying that it's just hard when people are constantly like, your parents are nagging you, telling you over and over. So what is the reason you have for why it's so difficult to do these things?
Honestly, I think just even when I was a little kid, I've always been very stubborn. So immediately if my mom tells me, do my homework, do the dishes, take out the trash, I immediately don't want to do it, even if I was going to do it. So I've just always been so aggravated when someone tells me to do something.
That is so interesting. Thanks for sharing that. Now, my question to you is, why do you think that's the case?
I honestly don't know.
Let's go to Isaiah real quick. All right, Isaiah, talk to us. Give us an explanation for this, please. We need your help.
All right. So I feel like for some reason, it feels like you kind of have like this expectation being like burdened on top of you over and over and over. And sometimes when you have the same expectation kind of like just leveled on top of you multiple times, you feel like you're expecting too much of you for no more reason than I said so.
Got it. Okay, that's a good perspective. Thanks for sharing that. All right, I'm going to go to Callie. She's been raising her hand. Let's go to Callie. Talk to us, Callie.
I just feel like parents get so pressed about whenever you don't do your chores because they're like, I bought this house. It's mine. I'm letting you live under this roof, so you should do this. Then they're like, do the chores, do this, wash the dishes. Okay, but this isn't my house. I didn't pay for it. You said so yourself. It's yours.
That's a good perspective. So raise your hand if you support what Callie's saying. Raise your hand. Let me see how many people is on this. But okay. Now, if you have even a different perspective than those three, raise your hand and share it. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to go to Mallory. Come on, Mallory, talk to us. I like your hair too, by the way.
Thank you. I'd say my perspective on this is just, I feel like, especially as a teenager, you'll see your friends may have like different situations where their parents aren't so strict. And so then you'll get it in your mind like, oh, they are allowed to do this. And so then you feel like, why am I not allowed to do this? And
that
so
makes sense.
it's really difficult to accept.
I like it. So you guys are saying some wonderful feedback, first of all. So I hope these parents are going to listen to this. We're going to send it to them. But I am curious, though. Okay, so you guys have already told me. You're saying, hey, it's so much pressure. I don't like someone nagging at me. I don't like this burden that you're putting on me. Hey, it's not even my house. Why do I have to do the chores? My question to you is this. Is your current behavior getting you what you want? So I want you to think of it a different way. Say, for instance, what would be different? Maybe somebody can answer this question. Let's say, for instance, you did do the chores without them asking. Let's say, for instance, you did all of your homework. You're making good grades. You are being respectful. You are following the rules on social media. Tell me then what? What will be better for you at home then? Who knows that answer? I'm curious. I'm going to see if you're doing all that. Okay, I'm going to Caden. All right, let me hear what Caden has to say about that. And then I'm going to go to Julian. Julian's been waiting patiently.
I said for a while it would work, but honestly, I feel like it would, even if I did do all that stuff, then I probably wouldn't get a lot back.
Oh, so you're saying even if you did all of that, it just wouldn't work? Your parents would still be on top of you?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Let's see what Julian has to say about that. Julian, you tell me, what would happen if you did everything, all the things that they asked you to do?
I mean, I've been trying that lately. Like, I've been doing my chores. I've been trying to get good grades. And, like, honestly, it works out a lot better. Like, if you just do what they want and stop resisting, then truthfully, it just gets a lot easier.
Oh, man, it's a new perspectives. Okay, guys. Now, raise your hand if you've experienced or you agree with Julian. They're like, hey, man, your life can be so much easier if you just do your chores, you listen to your parents. Yes, I see a lot of hands are up. All right, perfect. So who would like to share a different perspective? I think Nishka's been patient. So let me go to Nishka. Hold on, let me go to Nishka. Okay, Nishka, talk to us.
Like if I get good grades and do all the chores, I have to push myself a little because when I get good grades, like it's usually because I work hard. It doesn't just come on its own. So I have to like push myself for it. And to get chores, I have to push myself to remember to do it even when I'm tired. But it's worth it in the end because my parents have more trust on me. We avoid arguments.
I like it.
It helps. It's rewarding.
Yes. And I'm going to go to Jacob next. But just so you guys know, I'm talking to your parents. And this is literally they're telling me. It's like, listen, I would like to extend their curfew, but I have to keep reminding them to do the chores. Or I would like to let them hang out or get more screen time with their friends. But they're like, I got to wake them up every morning. They just can't get up on their own. I got to like go in there and drag them out of bed. So why would I give them more screen time? That's their perspective. What does Jacob have to say? Let's see.
So I do like 2 hours of homework a day and I time it too. And then I still don't get everything done. And I still have like below average grades. And they're like, oh, do more. And I'm like, I already did 2 hours.
Now, that makes sense. Okay, so you see where the frustration can come from, right? So it's like, hey, I'm giving my all. And then you go to your parents and like, hey, not good enough, right? So raise your hand if you experienced that. Like you're trying, and they're like, no, not good enough. Nope, try again. All right, Lulu, talk to us.
Okay, so like with me, I can usually get good grades without like trying super hard. But like sometimes I feel like my parents just like don't understand that I just don't want to try harder.
Oh, you don't want to try harder. So explain. Now you have to enlighten me on this. All right. So you say you get good grades, but why do you not want to try harder?
Well, because like I already have a lot of stress with stuff outside of school. And I think just like my grades, they're not really bad, but they could be better, but they are not bad. And there's other things that need my focus right now.
Okay. So let me ask you guys literally have heard probably about 10 different perspectives, okay? It sounds like we're all in the same boat, and I would say anyone who lives with their parents, even if you're like 21 and you live with your parents, there's still rules, right? And your parents are still kind of over you in a sense. We've identified like 6 things that they expect pretty much out of all teenagers. We've already identified those 6 things. And you guys have all shared something about why it is either difficult or you don't want to do it. Now, I'm going to see who knows his answer, because there's an answer. There's always an answer. What is something? It starts with a C, okay? I'm going to give you a hint. It starts with a C. What is something that everyone can do, especially the people who are like, hey, I am trying hard, or even just Lulu, hey, I have so much stress outside of school. What is something you guys can do that will help your parents understand? And Isaiah said cry. It's not cry. Let's see, Desiree, I think she knows the answer because she put up 2 hands. All right, Desiree.
So my parents have always taught me this. They just want me to communicate with them because they prefer that I will tell them what's going on than them trying to figure it out, because then it frustrates all of us.
That is it, guys. She said it. It's communication, okay? Communication. I'm going to come to you, Marquise. I see you've been patient with your hand up. Communication. What does that mean? So that's saying for Lulu, like, hey, Mom, I'm so stressed right now. I have this going on. I have that going on. I'm trying to do school. I'm trying to do the chores. I'm trying to, sometimes I lose control, right? Like I'm human. I lose control and I may sometimes talk back, but I don't really mean to be disrespectful, but I am so stressed. Now, if you communicate this, what can happen? What do you think? What can happen? I'm going to Marquise. What can happen if you communicate this to your parents?
Well, if you communicate, then you won't have to like keep to yourself all the time. You can
Absolutely.
You can always just talk to them to make yourself feel better.
That's awesome, Marquise, that you brought this up, because you know what? The biggest complaint that I heard, especially through times of COVID, was like, my teen is in their room all day, locked away. I just want them to come out and hang out with us. That was the number one complaint I heard. The second complaint I heard was that my teen won't talk to me. Come on now. We just explained, Marquise said, he just said it. Communication is a key. Okay, Callie, I know you're ready. Callie was like, hey, RJ, call on me again. All right, I'm coming to you, Callie.
He'll be like, why don't you talk to us? And then it's like, I don't know, maybe it's because you're always like, well, he's 6, so he can do no wrong, when they're talking about my brother whenever I get mad at him. And then they'll be like,
so yes.
They get mad at you for no reason half the time.
Okay.
I get mad at my brother sometimes for like doing things that will get on my nerves. And then my mom or dad will be like, oh, he's 6, so he doesn't know any better. Like, yeah, he does.
So what Callie is saying is that her parents are losing their temper, essentially. It's like they're coming on to her. So it's like, hey, talk to me. But then it's like, hey, just a few minutes ago, you were just yelling at me. What do you mean you talk to you, right? So I understand that. I think Callie brings up a good point. Let's see what Kenneth has to say about it.
Well, I mean, sometimes I'll feel less inclined to talk to my parents if it's like sometimes, the don't talk back thing. Like, why would I hang out if I'm not really able to have that back and forth that you hate so much?
Oh, that's a good point. Come on now. Raise your hand if you can identify with that. It's like, hey, okay, parent, I get it. You want me to talk to you. You want me to open up to you. But listen, you are so mad when I just challenge what you say. We're going back and forth. You get so mad and I get in trouble. So in that case, I'm going to just zip it. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to go sit in my room and not say a word. I understand that. So my question to you guys is this. What is something right now? Now, we already talked about communication. This is an individual question. The reason why I'm asking this question for you individually, because we do know this. Shutting down, being aggressive, being mad is never a way to get what you want. Just so you know. So like I say, my specialty is getting you what you want, whatever that is. Like somebody put, I want to go to Harvard. All right, I'm going to share with you. Anger will not get you into Harvard. Shutting down in tough situations will not get you to Harvard. Not engaging in a way where someone doesn't feel that you're being disrespectful will not get you to Harvard, okay? Getting into Harvard requires more than just good grades, just so you know. So these skills that you guys are going to develop is the perfect time to practice this is with your parents. They're literally the best person to practice relationship skills with because, as you guys know, sometimes they trigger you. They make you mad, right? So this is the individual question. I want you guys to think, and just so before I share this with you, your mind has an answer. Just so you know, your mind has an answer, but you have to ask it the right question. If you're asking it, why are my parents so mean? Guess what your mind's going to do? It's going to remind you of the times when your parent was being mean. But imagine if you say, what is one way that I can communicate with my parents on a deeper level? So that's my question for you. This is an individual question. It's going to be different for each one of you, but I'm going to ask a few people to share. What is one way, something that you can do today? Remember, I'm not a future guy, like in a year, I'm going to do this. No, today. Anytime we learn something new, we want to take action immediately. So what is one thing you can do today that can deepen the communication with your parents? All right, Jacqueline, talk to me. What is one thing you can do today to strengthen the relationship with your parents?
Well, my mom is mad at me right now. So I'm not going to talk to her, that's for sure. Because I know she'll just get more mad. So I'll probably talk to my dad. So yeah, I don't know. And
okay. Somebody said hide. All right. So your mom is mad to you. Okay. So your mom is mad at you. Have you tried to speak to your mom first, reasoning with her and apologizing? Have you tried that?
Yeah. I'll do that, right? But then she's like, oh, back in my day, I had it so much worse than you do now. Or she'll be like, you're just faking it. So
okay.
I don't know.
So I do want to teach you a tip on how to diffuse anger. All right. So if your parents are mad at you, I'm going to share a quick tip with you of how do you take their anger all the way to the bottom. All right. So they're not angry anymore. I'm going to teach you that. But before I teach you that, I'm going to hear from one more person about what you can do to deepen your relationship. I'm going to go with Annalise.
Well, usually when I talk to my mom about things, she usually like either says, if I try to ask her for something because like somebody else has and I think it's cool, she usually tell me, oh, well, I'm not this other person's parent. But then when she asks me like, why can't you do something like my friend does? I always try to tell her like, I understand, but I'm not them and I don't have the same mindset. But then she ends up yelling at me because then she says like it's disrespectful or I shouldn't be saying those things. But she's telling me not to like say something, and then she just says the same
Double
thing.
standard, man. I get it. And I see Jacob was like this. Jacob's like, yes. And then Ollie was like, yep, that's my mom too. And Isaiah's like, yes, I understand that. So you're right. It's a double standard. And this is why they have a coach, because I'm coaching him on this. I'm like, no, double standards will not work. You cannot do that. But I want to share with you how to take your parents' anger level all the way down. This is what you do. First, you have to ask yourself, when someone is angry, why does the anger continue? And I'm going to tell you the answer. Oftentimes, especially in a relationship situation, is they do not feel heard. Okay? They do not feel heard. So it makes them even more mad. So in other words, if they're telling you something and you're firing back, like what you just said, like, hey, I'm not that person, that makes them mad. So your trick to get them to lower their anger is to repeat what they just told you, like summarize it or rephrase it, because that makes them feel heard. It actually is on a deeper level in the subconscious. So if your parents are like, why don't you ever do your chores, or why don't you do this and that, and say, I understand. It seems like you're upset because I'm not doing these chores. Like, yeah, I'm upset. You're not doing them. I totally understand about that. And then obviously you can go to apologize. Now, do you try to explain yourself in that moment? Nope, doesn't work. You don't want to explain yourself until they're happy. That's when you explain that. So when someone is mad, you're wasting your time. Trying to explain when someone is mad, completely wasting your time. You guys are going to go back and forth. So the trick is to allow them to feel heard. You let them talk, don't interrupt, and then repeat back what they just said, okay? And then if you did do something wrong, apologize. I'm so sorry you feel that way. It makes sense you feel that way, right? Like earlier, I think it was Callie to say, hey, it makes sense. You paid for this house. I'm not doing my chores. It makes sense that you're mad. You know, if you ever told your mom that, it would literally take her anger to just keep going down. Now, she may try to test you and say, yeah, but, why don't you do it? And you just keep going. I understand exactly what you're saying. Thank you for sharing that with me. You don't explain yourself, okay? So you want to rephrase what they told you. And then you want to validate their feelings. And the way you validate is say, hey, it makes sense that you feel that way. You can say any parent would feel that way. I understand why you feel that way. It's okay that you feel that way, and guarantee their anger level is going to do this. And then don't say anything else. And if they say, hey, go do your chores. Okay, I'm going to do chores right now. Thank you for sharing that. And then when they're happy, then you could talk to them. Hey, Mom, I'm just curious. The other day you were telling me to do my chores and, I started to do them. I understand where you're coming from, but I do want to share with you, like, I am so stressed. I have school. I just got in a big fight with my friend, so that's really bothering me. My teacher, I feel like it's just not being fair to me. If you explain this to your parents in this tone, I'll guarantee they would feel more sympathy towards you. They'll probably talk to you more. So try it. It works. Try to resist the urge to fire back in any relationship. If you want anger, look, I always say, hey, man, it's going to be so hard, but just try it. Try it today. Any anger, just listen and say, oh, I understand, and rephrase them. I understand. And then you share. It makes sense that you feel that way. And that's all you have to say. Don't explain yourself. Don't try to give a reason. Wait. Are you going to try that? Give me double thumbs up. You're going to try it. You guys are awesome. You guys have been amazing today. I'm going to see you next week, and we're going to dive into a little more about this. I really appreciate you guys' feedback. So we're going to hang up, and then I'm going to go talk to your parents and get them in line, because no double standards. All right. See you guys later. High five. See you later. You guys have been awesome. Oh, man. Someone said they're too scared to try. Do it anyway. Overcome your fear. All right. See you guys later.
I hope you enjoy listening to the group coaching session. And I also hope that you are able to learn something that would help strengthen the relationship between you and your teenager. Until next time, this is a teen's perspective, helping parents see the future.